you have this continuous panel and the discontinuous panel. In the continuous panel, you have a group of people who will be there and who will be measured over a period of time under the same conditions. There are two types of descriptive studies. They are the cross-sectional study and the longitudinal study. What is casual research? In casual research, we are doing it to test a hypothesis. So, the cause and effect of a hypothesis. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. I welcome you all to this session. In this session, I will be having a discussion on Unit 2, that is Research Design. So, in this Unit 2, let us see what this unit holds for us. Now, the business research design. So, what is this business research design? So, research design we have already explained in my previous session. Now, let us see what are the three types of research design. So, three types of research design are exploratory, descriptive and casual. So, let us see what is this exploratory research. Now, the exploratory research is used in obtaining preliminary information that will help identify the problem and hypothesis. So, exploratory research is used to obtain preliminary information. So, what do we mean by preliminary information? So, what is the issue about? So, what kind of area you are doing the research, and pertaining to that area, what kind of an information you need. So, that will help identify the problem and the hypothesis. So, this kind of information will help us to identify the problem and also formulate a hypothesis. So, it is done to understand what is happening and why something is happening. Suppose the research is pertaining to any social issue, then the information will make us understand what is actually happening in the society and why it is happening. So, some of the most common methods of exploratory research are the focus groups, interviews, literature research, that is library, newspaper, magazines, trade publication, and online and case analysis. So, some of the most important sources of this information collection are, usually we collect information from the focus groups. So, the people who are involved in that issue, so they are called as the focus groups, and from these focus groups we collect the information. Then next one is the interviews. So, we have an in-depth interview on that particular subject. Then we also have the literary research. So, literary research means the research which has already been done on that particular topic. So, you can always collect the research from the library, the newspaper, magazines, trade publications, and online on through the internet also. You can collect or gather information relating to that particular topic, and also the case analysis. Then group interaction interview is the difference between a one-person interview. So, what is the interview you will be about? So, you have a group interaction based on that issue, and then you see what is the outcome of that group interaction, and individuals in a focus group should match the target market or audience that the client desires to get the insight from. So, in this way, we try to gather as much as information pertaining to that particular issue. So, this method of collecting information or exploring the various possibilities or exploring the various solutions for an issue, that becomes a part of exploratory research. So, just like you are exploring a new area, the same way you will be exploring new solutions for an existing problem. Next, the second type of research design is the descriptive research design. So, the descriptive research is used to identify the marketing problem and or the potential for a market. So, descriptive research refers to identification of the marketing problem or the potential for market. So what is the market potential? So where is the market situated? Who will be the customers for the market, and what kind of a market it is? So what is the size of the market? What is the demand for in that particular market? All this become the contents of a market. So this type of research is used to identify the characteristics of the target group or the average user of the product or the service. So with this help of a descriptive research, be able to understand who are the target group and also what are the characteristic features of the target group, or we can also have an understanding of the user of that particular product or service. So who is making use of the product or who is making use of the service, and how do you just describe that particular person? So the descriptive research will allow us to make specific predictions and notice a correlation among the variables. So with the help of descriptive research, we will be able to have a correlation between the variables. Now, in the next, we have the descriptive research. There are two types of descriptive studies. They are the cross-sectional study and the longitudinal study. So what is a cross-sectional study? A cross-sectional study involves a sample of the market population at a certain point in time. I had told you in my previous slide, the description research relates to the characteristic features of the target group. So whoever is the customers of that particular product, you try to understand their features. You try to understand more about the taste and preferences of that particular target group. Now, in this, again, descriptive research, again we have two types. The one is the cross-sectional study, second one is the longitudinal study. So in the cross-sectional study, it involves a sample of the market population at a certain point of time. You just collect the information from a sample group out of the target. So this is a study of the sample. A longitudinal study involves a panel of fixed sample of the element at a certain point of time. Now, if you want to go in for a longitudinal research, then it will be a panel of customers. Usually they will be fixed and they will be the authority on that particular topic. So they represent the entire target group. So whereas in a cross-sectional research, you just have a random selection of the sample, whereas in case of a longitudinal research, you will be having a fixed panel who will be there to give you the information. Now, an example of longitudinal study would involve the manufacturer, distributor, individual store and consumer. So, in a panel, as I told you earlier, in a longitudinal study, there will be a fixed panel who will be able to tell us about that particular, give us information about that particular topic. So, in this, the panel will comprise of the manufacturer, the distributor, the individual store and the consumers. So, any one of these elements can be replaced with another. So, you can replace any one of these elements. If there is no manufacturer, fine. You can always ask the distributor. If there is no distributor, you can ask the consumer. If there is no consumer, you can ask the individual stores. In other words, the distributor can be of new management or the departmental store or a competitor. So, you can always collect this descriptive research from any one from these panel. Then, in a longitudinal study, there are two types of panels and they are continuous panels and discontinuous panels. Now, again, in the longitudinal study, again we have two types. One is the continuous panels and second one is the discontinuous panels. In most scenario, panel members are compensated in one fashion or another for their efforts. So, whenever you are collecting information from these panels, they have to be compensated for all their efforts. So, in a continuous panel, the study relies on a fixed sample of respondents who are measured repeatedly over time under the same conditions. So, you have this continuous panel and the discontinuous panel. In the continuous panel, you have a group of people who will be there and who will be measured over a period of time under the same conditions. So, in a discontinuous panel, the study relies on a fixed sample of respondents who are measured under various conditions. So, in this continuous panel, we have the fixed customers and with the fixed conditions, whereas in the discontinuous panel, you will have the same type of customers but under varying conditions. So, when you have the control group, you just study them under the various conditions. The last one is the casual research. Now, what is this casual research? It is the marketing research done to test a hypothesis, the cause and effect of a hypothesis. For example, casual research may be used in a business setting to quantify that a change will have on its current operations and what it will have on future production levels to assess the business planning process. So, what is casual research? In casual research, we are doing it to test a hypothesis. So, the cause and effect of a hypothesis. Now, what is the cause and effect? For example, casual research may be used in a business setting to quantify the change we'll have on its current operations. So, in the cause and effect relationship, we try to measure what is the impact of any change in that particular business. So, whenever you are introducing new technology or new timings so what is the effect of that on the business? Suppose it is a production sector, what kind of an impact it will have on the production and then what it will have on the future production levels. So, if the new latest technology is brought into that, then what kind of impact it will have on the production levels and what impact it will have on the future business planning. So, how it will assess future plans of the business or the future production levels of the business. So, all this are a part of the casual research. So, in casual research, we just analyze the cause and effect of a particular situation. Then, next is the need for a research design. So, according to P.V. Young, a research design should be able to provide answer to the following queries. Now, whenever we are undertaking a research, the first thing will be we have to identify the problem, then we have to do the research design. Now, why it is necessary for us to have the research design? What is the study about and what type of data are required? So, the first question which is to be answered in a research design is, what is the actual problem of the research? What is the issue for which we are doing the research and what is the data needed for this kind of a research? Then, what is the purpose of the study and what is the scope of the study? Why we are undertaking the research and what are the limitations of the scope? Scope means, suppose you are having a study of women empowerment. So, women empowerment, yes. So, what do you do for women empowerment? You try to interview so many women. Then, what is the scope? Scope means you are undertaking this research based on a particular area. Suppose in and around Mysuru, you just interview the women and ask their views on women empowerment. In your study research paper, what will you write? So, the women empowerment, it is a study in the area of Mysuru city. So, you have conducted the interview and you have come to a conclusion and it is based on the information collected from women in and around Mysuru city. So, that will be the scope. So, you will know what is their limit. So, in this way, you can always have the scope of your research for the entire nation or for the entire country or for the entire globe. So, depending on your time and what are the efforts. Then, what are the sources of the needed data? So, from where you are getting the needed data? So, we have to identify the sources of the needed data and what should be the place or area of study, which place you are doing the study and what is the geographical area, what time approximately is required for the study. So, in the research design, you should mention what is the time period for which you will be undertaking the research, whether it is for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. So, what is the period for which we will be doing the research and what should be the amount of material a number of cases of the study. So what is the material you are collecting and how many cases you are studying. So that also you have to mention, and what type of a sampling should be used. So what type of sampling should be used means, suppose in case you are collecting primary data from the population. So what kind of sampling text you will be using, whether it is a simple random sampling or whether it is a stratified random sampling. So all this you have to think of when you just write down the research design. Then next, what method of data collection would be appropriate, whether you go in for the primary data or whether you go in for the secondary data. So in case of primary data, it becomes more important for us to identify who our respondents are and what kind of information we are collecting. In case of a questionnaire method, so what are the questions you need to frame and what will be the structure of the question and whom you have to approach to collect the information, all this becomes important. And next, how will the data be analyzed? So in case of this, how do you just collect the information? How do you have a systematic recording of it? How do you analyze the data? So what are the statistical tools you will be just involving in analysis of the data? What would be the approximate expenditure? What is that money you will be spending on this kind of a research? Then what would be the methodology of study? What kind of a methodology you will be using in studying, and what should be the specific nature of the study? So all these questions should be answered when you are writing down the research design. Then keeping in view the aforesaid design decisions, the researcher may split the overall practical research design into the following phases. So the need for research design, so he can always split the research design into two phases. Now what are the two phases? The sampling design, dealing with the method of selecting items to be observed for the given study. So in this we have to decide about the sampling design. Now what is this sampling design? So sampling design means you are selecting the items for your study. How do you select the items for your study? Then the second one is the observational design. Now what is this observational design? Specifying the conditions under which the observations are to be made. So you have to specify under what conditions you are making the observation. So these two become very, very important. Then the statistical design. So taking into account the quantitative and statistical aspects of the design, which concerns with the question of how many items are to be observed and how the information data collected are to be analyzed. So in this we have the statistical design. Now what is the statistical design? So in the statistical design you put the elements to all this, you use all statistical tools to analyze the element to come to a conclusion. For example, if I am asking the student what is the result in your second PUC exam, you may tell me I got 70% or 80%. So that 80% denotes the overall average of all your marks. But in case you just say I got 100 in maths or 100 in science, that does not tell me anything. I cannot get an inference if you just tell me the marks of a single particular subject. So I need an overall analysis. So to have an overall analysis, I need to have an average. So in the same way, this statistical tools will help us to come to a conclusion when we have an aggregation of facts. The operational design relating to the use of the specific technique for the operation of the model already designed. It deals with the techniques by which the procedures specified in the sampling, statistical and observational designs can be carried out. With this, we come to the end of this session. Hope you have all followed. Thank you.